the PC DRAM, the PC roadmap is stalled, and on the one hand, you've got almost zero DDR3 PCs in the market now. Some white boxes, but we did a survey of websites about 2 months ago. We found that HP Compaq, Dell, Lenovo, and Acer, none of them had a DDR3 enabled PC. At the other end, the whole market kind of shifted over to DDR2 667 in the first part of 2006. So that's been the mainstream part for PCs for 2.5 years. And it kind of makes a mockery of the speed bins that they set up in JEDEC, the DDR2 400, 533, 667, 800. That the sense was that every time the product line was refreshed, they would kind of move up the ladder and have a higher performance memory subsystem. It didn't work that way. It's been a DDR2 667 with probably 15% DDR2 800 out in the market, that are in the boxes that are being the high volume sellers. And it's a little more, you know, there's some fuzzy edges about how the enablement took place. You can get motherboard, chipset. You can get everything you need to build a DDR3 system, but the prices has kept the volume down, and there may be some other factors that are DDR3. It's about 18 months ago, Intel had a big launch of DDR3 at their Taiwan IDF, and instantly all the DRAM manufacturers said, hey, here's all the stuff we've got validated at Intel. Here's the DIMMs, and you go to the Intel validation website, and it's filled with every vendor's DIMMs and every vendor's DRAM is validated by Intel, but still the market's not there. So the product is ready. It's got its engines running. It's more expensive, but it's higher performance, and it's also lower power. But it just hasn't happened. And I'm not sure when it's gonna really take hold. But today 2 or 3% of the PC of the DRAMs are DDR3, and it might be 5 or 8 or 10% by the end of the year. But it's really going to be the middle of next year before it gets going. It starts where DDR2 leaves off, 800, the dash 800, and it runs up to 1600, even though there's some overclocked parts that you can get that run to DDR3 2000 already for the enthusiast market that you pay extra for. But DDR3 is still a thing in the future. Here's just a summary of some of the reasons that DDR2 is holding on so well. Probably the first and most important is that the DDR2 prices are terrible for vendors. They're really low, and the DDR3 guys don't want to trash the early market by going down to compete on price. So that's a big inhibitor right there. But there's also some, I don't want to call them experimental, but there's also some deviations, parts that don't follow the normal JEDEC roadmap that undercut some of the benefits that DDR3 would bring to the party. And some of these are an advanced reduction in the voltage from 1.8 to 1.5 volts, and there's some product out there that's very attractive and making some headway. There's some super speed bins on DDR2, the 1066, which in theory would be a DDR3 part, but there's actually a JEDEC spec now that came through later for a DDR2 1066. So some of the early ostensible benefits of going to DDR3 have been undercut by some secondary actions by the DDR2 manufacturers to offer DDR2 parts.